Wrestling fans, tag team championship action is coming up. Jeremy Blanchard, Mikey O'Shea in the ring against the Grapplers.
The Grapplers. You know what, Kelly? I grew up watching the Grappler. Yes, I got fond memories of the Grappler. I mean, back in the day, him running around with those shenanigans, you know, up there on the crow's nest. And
Jeremy, what are you doing? Have you not forgotten what they've done to you in the past? What they are now is nothing more but the past. Now, it's about the new Wrecking Crew. Jeremy Blanchard, Mikey O'Shea, your new WCWC tag team titles, the Grapplers. You have no idea what's coming for you.
And that's going to be coming up right here on the West Coast Wrestling Connection.
I was just thinking about, you know, when I was a kid.
Sports Radio 750 and 1029 The Game is the sports station. Dan Patrick live 6 to 9 a.m. Jim Rome 9 to noon. John Canzano noon to 3. The Huddle with Mike Rags 3 to 7. 750 and 1029 The Game.
Guilty of wardrobe malfunctions? Too many fashion fails? Cash Ross Creations, a doctor for your wardrobe. Cash Ross Creations, a leader in tailor-made suits for nearly 50 years. From professional to leisure suits, upcoming weddings or proms. Cash Ross has endless options and affordable elegance. Bespoke jeans, shirts, belts, and suits. Every fabric design available, we bring Hong Kong tailoring to you. Visit Cash Ross Creations downtown Portland or on the web.
Sports Radio 750 and 1029 The Game is the sports station. Dan Patrick live 6 to 9 a.m. Jim Rome 9 to noon. John Canzano noon to 3. The Huddle with Mike Rags 3 to 7. 750 and 1029 The Game.
The Grapplers are being accompanied to the ring by the legendary Grappler.
Main event time here on the West Coast Wrestling Connection. Grapplers. We got G3, G4 with their shot at the tag team gold. And will the prophecy of the legendary Grappler, he himself, I believe he said an 11-time tag team champion, will it come to fruition tonight for his proteges?
All I know, Todd, is that's a lot of silver and black in that ring. G1, G3, G4, a lot of silver and black, a lot of Grappler.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me your West Coast Wrestling Connection Tag Team Champions, Jeremy Blanchard and Mikey O'Shea.
And here come the reigning, defending champions, Jeremy Blanchard, Mikey O'Shea. What a force they have been. Fighting champions indeed, Jeff. You talked about defending the gold in various live events as well as right here on this program.
Well, it's one of the great things about Mikey O'Shea and Jeremy Blanchard is when they won the tag team championships, they actually went to the championship committee and said that we want to be defending champions. We want to hit the road. We want to defend our belts everywhere, anywhere that we can, and they have done exactly that. So to all of you fans who've attended non-televised West Coast Wrestling Connection live events, you've been treated to some of the greatest tag team champions we've had here in the WCWC. But Todd, this could be one of their biggest challenges to date. Grappler 3, former tag team champion himself, and Grappler 4, who I've been working all week to, well, I've been working weeks to find out who he is, but those tattoos look pretty familiar to me. I don't know if you recognize them, if they're known to you.
Yeah, they might try and totally knock out the tag team champions here. You know what I mean?
Might explain the absence of one of the Wrecking Crew members here recently. Maybe he's been present all along, but that's all conjecture at this point. Grappler 4, the newest member of the Wrecking Crew, and now looks like Grappler 3 is going to start things off with Jeremy Blanchard, who still has that arm brace.
Certainly does. I'll tell you what he doesn't have, though, is about 50, 60 pounds. Jeremy Blanchard has gotten himself into the greatest shape of his career. I mean, he looks phenomenal. Looks like a new man in there. He's in championship form in more ways than one. And you see that it come to, you know, his aid because he's quicker than ever in there. Ducked the shot from G3. And look at the way this man can move.
Well, it's a real testament, Todd, to just the championship caliber here in the West Coast Wrestling Connection. Jeremy Blanchard wanted gold. He had the Legacy Championship when he was a member of the Wrecking Crew. He held on to it by crook and by any means necessary with the help of the Grappler. Then he turned his back on the Wrecking Crew. He's been a champion for himself and for everyone else out there who's ever been bullied or taken advantage of. But he saw something lacking in himself athletically. He took care of the lost weight. He's been looking on fire. And now Grappler 4, the known one, Grappler 4, getting just completely rocked by Mikey O'Shea.
Welcome to the Wrecking Crew, and welcome to the Wrecking Ball and Mikey O'Shea. Wrecking Mikey indeed. As now, look at this, elevated G4 up to the lights and a big backdrop. And what a partner Mikey O'Shea has proven for Jeremy Blanchard to get back to championship form, because O'Shea in his time here on this program has really been defined with tag team title reigns.
That he has, a former tag team champion with Casey Conley, with Gangrel, now with Jeremy Blanchard. I believe he's had more tag team title reigns in a less amount of time, and we could have in a less amount of time than anyone in the history of the West Coast Wrestling Connection.
O'Shea has really been rolling in there in this matchup since he checked in. A big senton, putting all that body weight down on G4, who his mettle is really being tested in a big way in this tag team main event.
Well, Grappler 4 has had a lot of time under the tutelage of both Grappler 3 and the Grappler and the rest of the Wrecking Crew, and Bryce Harrison and Alexander Hammerstone, and Mikey O'Shea going for that victory as quickly as he can. But Grappler 4 has definitely picked up a lot of tricks from the Wrecking Crew, and I expect to see a lot more of those in this matchup.
Well, and we saw him last time G3 was in singles competition. G4 very instrumental in the victory of G3 from the outside. So we've seen that they can work together when it comes to underhanded tactics and being able to distract the official. But the tag team continuity thus far in this title matchup has been soundly on the side of the champions, Blanchard and O'Shea, who make frequent tags, and that's an important factor when you've got the size of these two.
Absolutely, you got to keep them fresh. You got to keep the oxygen flowing for them. Both of them are bigger guys, but both highly athletic with a lot of wind in them. But they have completely cut G3 out of this matchup. I wonder if Grappler 4 is at all regretting his decision to put on the mask and become Grappler 4.
Well, and I wonder if the Grappler himself is going to have to eat those words. You know, he made it clear that he thought his men would be the next tag team champions. Low bridge there by G3. So although he was a non-factor for a few minutes, he interjects himself back into this title matchup as he goes to work on Blanchard, who hit hard and heavy on that concrete floor.
That bare concrete Mikey O'Shea fighting his way in, trying to come to the aid of his tag team partner, but G3 doing his worst right there on the outside, right up against the ring apron, continuing to assault him. Needs to get him in the ring. If they want to win the belts, Todd, they're going to have to do it in the ring.
And when things start to unravel and get chaotic, that's where the Grapplers really thrive. That's where they take the advantage. And now you start to see the continuity on their side. Tag is made. G3 checks in, and he can cause a variety of damage. He's got Blanchard just hung out to dry on that rope, and a whole lot of history between Blanchard and the Wrecking Crew.
Yep. Well, and here's Grappler 1 getting his licks in on Jeremy Blanchard. Yeah, the history with Jeremy Blanchard and the Wrecking Crew goes back to the formation of the Wrecking Crew, the very beginning of it. He and Grappler 3, former tag team champions, former training partners, former road partners. Grappler 3 and have so much history. Jeremy Blanchard was essentially raised by the Grappler in professional wrestling. Jeremy Blanchard. Oh.
And then they threw Blanchard out. They threw him out like yesterday's garbage, yesterday's news. And then Blanchard made it his mission to get revenge and take out the Wrecking Crew one by one, aided in part with that orthopedic arm brace. And he can win another battle in the war if he can defend the tag team titles along with O'Shea here tonight.
Well, what a victory for him to have a successful title defense against really 3 grapplers in here just to drive home that I don't need you, Wrecking Crew. I'm my own man, and I found someone bigger and better than you in Mikey O'Shea.
I think he and O'Shea proved that by winning the titles from the Wrecking Crew. Hammerstone and G3 at the time, something that certainly hasn't sit well with the Grappler or G3 And now is this going to be the recipe for success? With G4 there, drops straight down and really starts to go to work on Blanchard, who you can just hear is in agony and total pain inside the ring here in our main event.
Grapplers definitely beginning to gel as a tag team here. Jeremy Blanchard on the receiving end of all of it. But I do have to take a quick moment and nerd out that I remember my very first G4. It was a 17-inch, one of the lampshade models. It was incredible. If any of you guys remember, you can tweet that out. It was, oh, those were good days when the G3 and the G4 were rocking the world. And right now, the Grapplers, G3 and G4, trying to do it once again, and the Grappler getting his licks in. I think Jeremy may have broken a rib by the way he's reacting to those punches right to the side.
And you can see that G3, G4 will take every advantage. They will exploit that. And you're right, and when you have a compromised rib, it hurts to even take a breath.
Exactly.
And right now, Blanchard's going to be breathing hard and heavy to try and get oxygen in that body. This isn't going to help here, the cover as well. He doesn't get the win, but he forces Blanchard to kick out, adding more pressure to that rib.
Well, and you notice that he actually laid the lateral press against the side in which the rib was injured, so that when he kicked out, he had to put extra pressure on it. Grappler 3 was very wise in his positioning, just taking every bit of damage he could out of that. Grappler 4 tagged himself in, and my goodness, this is just, I mean, just an absolute assault on the tag team champion.
Desperation time for Blanchard, trying to muscle his way to the corner, but cut off at the pass by G4, and he gets Blanchard all the way back into their corner, wrong part of town. Blanchard trying to charge like a rhino here to get to O'Shea, who's fresh on the apron. Blanchard desperately needs this tag.
So close, so close. He gets it, Mikey O'Shea. Mikey O'Shea's in, and he's going to town on Grappler 4. Now, Jeremy Blanchard just has to get out, and he just needs some time. Some time to...
The referee...
What?
The referee didn't see the tag. He's not going to allow it. Oh, and how?
Come on!
What a bad break this is. No pun intended for Blanchard, who is stuck in there. No escape, no surcease in the pain being dished out to him by the Grapplers.
The Grapplers definitely done a good job in preparing both Grappler 3 and Grappler 4. It's a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. It means so much for him to have passed the title of the Grapplers onto these two wrestlers. And look at that on Jeremy Blanchard's face. That is what pain looks like, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Blanchard is a real people's champion. He grassroots, he got all the way to the gold.
Oh, come on!
And the Grappler now with a clothesline. And can you imagine the punishment that's being done by the ribs to the ribs now, landing on that cold, unforgiving concrete on the outside. The tag team titles, Jeff, in deep, deep jeopardy, as is the career, quite frankly, of Jeremy Blanchard. And that's nothing new, as the Wrecking Crew has tried to put him on the shelf permanently several times.
Corey Lipschitz has spent somewhere in the neighborhood of $15,000 on various things to try and take Blanchard out of wrestling forever. None of it worked. He is still, as of right now, one of the tag team champions. But Grappler 4 just unrelenting right now on Jeremy Blanchard, and see how he positions himself in such a way that Jeremy Blanchard has no hope of getting to his partner, Mikey O'Shea, to make the tag.
G4 putting himself between Blanchard and that friendly corner. And he talked about the bounty as Blanchard now full but runs right into another big clothesline. He's not moving. Tag team titles to change hands. O'Shea with desperation there. He knew it could be the beginning of the end.
When he was lucky to get out, the referee has been all over him this entire match, keeping him in his corner till he's tagged. Fortunate he was able to get out.
You mentioned the bounty, and the Grapplers might cash in a big way, not only with taking out Blanchard, talk about kill two birds with one stone, but also take home the tag team titles. Blanchard is just a complete heap here.
Jeremy Blanchard was all but out, but he gets out of the way of the elbow. Grappler 3, and Jeremy Blanchard fighting hard, getting the fans behind him if he can just make the tag to Mikey O'Shea.
Oh, he's almost there, crawling, just inching. If he can just get a couple inches more and maybe dive out, he will get to the hand of O'Shea, and he does, he makes it, and here comes the Irish Juggernaut, and he's gonna be all kinds of fired up.
Mikey O'Shea, he doesn't care if you're Grappler 3 or Grappler 4, heck, he probably doesn't care if you're Grappler 1. You are fair game, and Mikey O'Shea is coming after you.
O'Shea on a complete rampage, and this is a very different matchup now that he's tagged in. He might have what it takes to put it away in this tough title defense. suplex into the cover, all that way down.
Ow! Grappler 4 gets in and breaks it up. Jeremy Blanchard comes racing in to try and get, he's sending Grappler 4 out of the ring, and he's chasing him out as well.
Taking out the trash, throwing out Grappler 4, much like they threw him out in the past.
Oh.
Sends him into the post.
He goes, oh no!
Official down, man. This thing breaking loose in a hurry here.
Jeremy Blanchard loading that arm break. There he goes. We've seen him use this before. This is the end. Grappler yelling at us like it's something new.
Yeah, but this could be the X factor here. This could be what the champs need by hook or by crook. Little fight fire with fire. The referee's not going to see it. Go ahead. Clock G3. Give him what he deserves.
Which one of the Grappler 3 comes up? Grappler 4 still out on the outside. And
what the hell?
Oh my God! What just?
He just pulled.
He's staring at the referee holding Grappler 3 on top of him.
What?
And he counted the pinfall. What the?
We have new tag team champions. We're waiting on the official word. But
Jeremy
sacrifice play there by Blanchard. What the hell?
He's got the belts. He gives them to the Grapplers. What is going on?
They had a bounty on your head, Blanchard. How in the heck could he?
How can you do this? How can you turn your back on these fans? How can you consort with the man who spent money to take you out of wrestling? The referees are coming and taking the belts away.
Pat, we're going to get some sort of official word here because.
Gentlemen, I have been informed from the back that there is no winner in this matchup.
No winner.
And furthermore, as of this very minute, the tag team titles in the West Coast Wrestling Connection are vacant.
What?
They shouldn't change hands that way. I agree with that.
But vacant.
However, hear me out. Next week, there is going to be a matchup, and that will be Jeremy Blanchard in the ring next week against Mikey O'Shea.
Oh, wow.
And that's not all. The winner of that matchup will be able to pick his tag team partner and carry the tag team championships with them. That matchup coming up in 1 week in this very ring. Gentlemen, good luck. It should be interesting.
Well, the title's held up, vacated, but, you know, this is a heartbreaker for Mikey O'Shea. He still loses the tag team titles because Jeremy Blanchard rekindles his relationship with the Wrecking Crew. Jeff, next week, we have a one-on-one matchup, a one-on-one match for the tag team titles.
It's going to be unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week. This has been the West Coast Wrestling Connection.
You sold out. You sold out, Blanchard.
You threw away our friendship for those people.